You interrupted him more than he interrupted you. Yeah, you did.
No,
It's kind of self-explanatory.
Meanwhile, we're measuring Earth flat, and the GP that's at the end of that baseline, when you are looking out to sea to establish a flat baseline with the horizon, you're measuring Earth to establish a flat baseline to navigate it with ground positions on the same line that you measured out to the horizon. That line out to the horizon, which is flat and going to be referenced as a horizontal plane when navigating the ground, not sea. Oh, yeah, that's still ground when I say ground, yeah. Yeah, that is flat, all the way out to the GP.
Nathan, may I?
No, well, not until I've had left lane respond, because he's saying no, it's not the ground again.
Okay. But you're referencing a GP when you asked how I could, determine latitude from observing Polaris. That Polaris's GP doesn't matter when you're determining your latitude. Your GP
does it
is
not?
not something you
does
measure.
it not? Sorry, excuse me, that's wrong.
It works. You just measure the angle of Polaris and you figure out your latitude. Now, you keep talking about measuring to your angle to the GP.
Why are you carrying
your
on?
GP in celestial navigation is given by the almanac based on what time you observe the elevation angle to a particular star. You go look it up, and it gives you your GP. There's no measurement to it.
Oh, and what about latitude itself?
It just appeared in the
I would
almanac.
imagine they would use a procedure of determining the point of rotation in the south. I don't know. I had never.
Now, I know
done that.
you don't know. You've told us twice, but then every time I try and expand on that particular point in terms of how the latitude grid was measured, with the GP of Polaris, that you say categorically it has nothing to do with the GP of Polaris, even though that's precisely what the latitude grid system is. But it's nothing to do with Polaris's GP, right? Like you just asserted about 2.5 minutes ago. Just to get it clear, you don't know what the latitude system or how it came to pass, but you're more than content to tell us that it has nothing to do with the GP of Polaris, which is what you've done. You don't know, but you do know it has nothing to do with its GP. Just to be clear, that's your position so far, correct?
So you've asked the question, can you tell us how the latitude lines were determined on the spherical coordinates of the planet?
Yeah, they're the measurements of the GP of Polaris extending out from its position. So you have concentric circles getting bigger as you measure from Polaris as it recedes to the horizon until you reach the inferred minimum at the equator. That's how that latitude grid system is measured off a flat Earth, specifically with the GP of Polaris. Something you said it didn't include because you're wrong and are now going to interrupt me while I point out this painful fact that you are wrong. Yes, it is absolutely, without question, a flat Earth grid laid out by measuring the GP. Just out of interest, does the time have any bearing on when you measure the GP of Polaris? Oh, yeah, it's always exactly the same place, no matter what the time. Again, contradicting your total and utter garbage that something to do with the time has something to do with the grid system that's measuring a flat Earth to derive it in the first place. No, time has absolutely nothing to do with this grid system. Polaris isn't moving. That's why its GP, and as you expand out for it, gives you this grid when you measure it with a flat baseline to its GP. That's its ground position,
Polaris
the position on the ground as I get interrupted by somebody who's been demonstrably wrong for about the last 5 straight minutes. I would imagine that somebody demonstrably wrong for the last straight 5 minutes needs to interrupt the conclusion of just how wrong he is when we measure a flat Earth with the GP of Polaris, something that he basically said he didn't know anything about, but then was more content to tell us that it didn't involve it, even though he understood he didn't know what it was utilised or derived from. So, Mr. Dunning-Kruger, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what it doesn't use. It uses the GP of Polaris when measured on a flat plane.
Yeah,
GP,
I'm not
excuse
talking to
me,
you
Fundy
anymore.
triggered wrong
Go ahead,
man.
mute me.
I'm making my conclusion based on knowledge that's correct and disagreeing with your knowledge. That doesn't require an interruption. Just being wrong doesn't mean you need to chant through me. You just need to sit down and understand how wrong you were when you told the audience that it had something to do with time and nothing to do with GP, when you also declared that you didn't understand how this system was derived in the first place. I do, and I will tell you, hopefully without interruption. I'll also make absolutely clear in conclusion that we are unequivocally measuring a flat Earth to derive this system that you, in the start of this discussion, thought could be mapped onto a ball when it's measured flat, proving Earth is measured flat, beyond all doubt. That's what it is. A flat
Can you
grid
explain how it's measured
system
flat?
measured with Polaris. Earth is measured flat. I thank you.
All going to sit down and take
Hold
this.
on, that works
Come
for the
on,
Northern
guys.
Hemisphere.
Come on, men. Stand
Okay,
up.
so we don't need just like baseless filler commentary. I don't know how you guys don't understand the concept that you're creating a construct with latitude lines or concentric circles on the
Creating a
ground.
horizontal and measuring
On the
off
ground.
that.
Stop
It's not the Earth.
interrupting me, dude. Why are you people such degenerates? So from the central position, it's very simple concepts. So if you guys want to address it specifically, that's cool. We don't need all the Brian, what is wrong with you right now, dude? So
They can't handle it. That's what it is.
This is insane. This is
I'm the
insane.
only one that is asked.
I muted him. Go ahead, Whitsett. Sorry.
Okay, if someone wants to address the point specifically, he has had to lay it out like 5 times. It's the latitude system is a construct of concentric circles coming from the central position on the ground. That's where the construct is. So you absolutely would need a central ground position to measure out from that point, to create the system from that point. If someone wants to address the point specifically, that's cool. We don't need all the other color commentary. It's super annoying.
May I? I have a few points and questions to
So
ask.
does anyone have a actual rebuttal or a response
Super
to this
Cookie.
point directly?
Yeah, Super Cookie sounds
I
like
do.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I don't think necessarily anyone stands on a horizontal plane of reference. And that's where I get wonky with your explanation of stuff. When you say like, you stand on a horizontal plane of reference, therefore XYZ. You know what I mean?
No, that's a
I have a couple
citation I
follow-ups
gave.
with that.
That's not something I say, it's a citation.
But I don't think anybody stands on a horizontal plane of reference.
I'll just say it once more. I'll just try once more, hopefully without G plus interrupting. No, that's not something I say. That is a definition of an elevation angle. A definition by sustainable by design. That's how it's defined. It's not something I say. Second time's a charm.
Panel company.
I've got another 12 of them that say very similar things, by the way. That's not just a single in isolation
Yeah,
example of how an elevation angle's defined. It's not like just
The
one.
horizontals where you measure from.
You could stand it. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily be standing on it. You can have a horizontal plane of reference, whatever.
Yeah, just stop a second. You can have a horizontal plane of reference. What does reference mean exactly?
Something to measure from.
So what you're saying is we can have a horizontal plane to measure from. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what it is, and that's what we are measuring from. Earth is flat. A horizontal plane that we reference and measure. That's correct. Yes.
I agree.
But it's not the Earth. When we say, oh, right, so we're referencing a horizontal plane. That's not the Earth, though. Yes, it is. We're navigating the Earth. That's what it's being used for and what it factually is. It's not a claim I'm making. It's not up for discussion. It's celestial navigation.